But yeah, would you like to introduce yourself and kind of let everybody know what you do and how long you've been doing it?
Yeah. Hey everyone. My name is Ren. I go by TheThreadedRen on basically all social media platforms. I am a cosplayer. I'm a fad player. I started in the game in August. I did my first fad cosplay in at Worlds, and I've just been along for the ride, loving the game and loving the community.
Yeah, so how do you go from, I think you said high school, doing cosplays to constructing your own and having the confidence to, go to a big event and show it off?
That is a great question. I think that during COVID and just in the internet age that we're in, YouTube has really flourished, and there's just a wealth of opportunity out there and like knowledge on, oh, you want to build this? There's out there. And then Frankie, I'm just gonna be honest, she is the combination of creepy and cute is everything that I love. So Frankie gave me the power to be like, we can do it. If there's a chance that I can come home with this card, the, embarrassment or the voice in my head can be quiet for a little bit because maybe we'll come home with a Frankie.
And were you able to? Did you come home with a Frankie?
I did not,
Okay.
and I was able to get one at the world premiere in London where I was a sponsored cosplay guest, and that was an amazing experience. But honestly, even though I didn't come home with Frankie, this sounds so cheesy, but Worlds meeting the cosplayers and just becoming an actual member of the cosplay community and just like the greater fab community as a whole made me feel like a winner that I didn't even like. I forgot about Frankie by the time I left. I was like, man, I have so many cool friends now that live all over and play the game. This is such a cool thing.
I gotta say, I definitely understand that. I have not been lucky enough to go into any big events, but even the smaller ones, even my locals, it has been the most welcoming community ever out of anything. My partner likes to cosplay more of the anime and the video game stuff. They've wanted to do Prism as well, and I showed them their video, and they're very competitive. So they're like, "Don't show me that, because then I'm going to get all in my head about it, because just how good yours was."
Oh, thank
Um,
you.
but but cosplayers aren't usually as nice as you are. I feel like a lot of them, at least that we've ran into, on like the anime and the more video game side, are more pretentious. And I don't think that's a hot take.
No, and I actually had an experience where I was cosplaying locally at just a Comic-Con convention, and I had made some, like,
Hmm.
online friends beforehand, and I was like, "This is gonna be so fun, we're gonna meet up," and then I met up with them at the convention, and it was very cold, very cliquey, and that honestly stopped me cosplaying, like, I was like, "Wow, I'm finally gonna start cosplaying, this is gonna be so fun," and I didn't really like that experience. So I was like, "Okay, maybe,"
Hmm.
I wore a cosplay, I did a cosplay, I can check that off my bucket list. But then I saw Frankie and I was like, you know what? I'll try again. I'll try to get a Frankie. Like that was all I was thinking about. I was kind of really nervous. I was expecting, the same kind of attitudes and stuff. But all
Hmm.
the cosplayers I have met in the Flesh and Blood community are the nicest people. They are not gatekeepers. Like they're like, you want to know how I did this? Here you go. Let me help you. They were so welcoming, it felt like I've already been friends with them for so long that it was really refreshing to me and just really, again, restored, like, my faith in humanity, honestly, because I was like, "Wow, this is what I've always wanted, I can't believe it actually exists," because I had had those negative experiences.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I 100% agree, because I don't cosplay myself, but so I am the like convention pack mule for all of my friends, which I'm happy to do. So when people ask to take pictures, they don't have to take off like all of these like badges and stuff. But even that, there's like been one experience where we were walking around the convention center, and there was just these group of like teenage boys going around pointing and laughing and saying how everyone looks stupid, and it was like they're just being like little shitheads, but it still hurts. Like
Oh,
I could
yeah.
see like the whole group just freaking deflated. Um, and so that was like definitely one of the beginning of the end sadly for my partner cosplaying, but now I'm hoping that more people like you come out and, not just the flesh and blood community, but hopefully it can like spread to other stuff too, where it's like, hey, maybe we can like be nice to each other, which I know, crazy idea. But like we're all dressing up. We all look somewhat a little silly. Even if you look amazing. Like it's a silly concept, but a fun concept. Why do we have to be mean to each other?
Right, exactly. I know. Also, teenagers are just the scariest creatures. Like I was one once.
Oh
I
yeah.
was a teenager laughing at when we would like kill me. I'd be like, "Oh, they're so scary." But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm hoping too that, and I really hope your partner can get back into cosplaying, and hopefully we'll see them Prism one day. That would be really cool.
That is the hope. Yes, they are contemplating which one, because I know that you've said that before too. Like you were like, which one do I even start with? So I think they're gonna try to decide on that and then go from there.
That'll be exciting. I'll keep my eye out, and if they have any questions or anything, please reach out.
Absolutely, absolutely. They will be very happy to hear that. All right, to the main topic. When did you start playing Flesh and Blood? Like what set is like your set when you started?
I started playing again in August, so that was kind of the tail end of high seas and right before Super Slam.
Okay. Did you play before that? I heard you say again.
I played once when Flesh and Blood, like, first came out. I had, like, the first,
Hmm.
Dorinthia deck. I played the game once and I was like, "Wow, this is really
Wow.
fun," and then didn't go anywhere else with it. Unfortunately, I, like, went into Magic. I kick myself constantly that I didn't get into Fab early because 'cause I'm like, "Man, I missed out."
Yes, I was a commander player. Very unfortunate. So other than Prism, you seem and the reason I actually reached out is because you made that video on Aurora. Were you able? No, I don't think you were. I don't think you were even able to play Aurora. I think she LO'd
No,
by that time, didn't she?
I wasn't able to play Aurora, so I'm in the camp that I don't have the trauma from when she was dominating the meta and really strong. So I just see, wow, she's so pretty. I'm so excited I
Hmm.
get to play her. Also, like purples and blues are my favorite colors. So I knew the moment they
Yeah.
like put up the art for this set, I knew I was in trouble. But then when I saw Aurora, I was so excited to be able to play her and experience her.
Yeah, that was definitely one of our favorites. But yeah, like all of the colors, I really liked. I know it sounds so silly, but I liked how much blue lightning there was. I don't like yellow lightning. So the fact that a lot of the art had all this really pretty blue lightning was what really drew me into that set specifically.
That's so funny you mentioned the yellow lightning. I've never thought about that, but I have the same opinion. I definitely prefer blue lightning. I'm also selfishly excited because the decks that I main in CC are Verdance and Syndra, and they're very
Hmm.
close to LLing. So I need somebody else
Yes,
to kind of go into my rotation of CC decks.
absolutely. Yeah. So I guess that also goes into the next and also first topic is what is your thoughts about Omens? Kind of as a set in general, how it's all lightning, presumably only 3 heroes. I wanna know your thought if you're in the camp of, like, maybe there's, like, gonna be a secret chaos or shadow hero because of, like, the ending of the trailer, or just kind of, like, your thoughts in general.
I Of course, I have heard. Again, I'm new to the game, so I didn't get to experience Lexi or,
Mhm.
Islander, so I don't know what I'm missing out on, but I do know that, Ice is really overdue, so I understand that some people are disappointed on that sense, but I do like how thematic the set feels. Again, I'm coming from Magic where things kind of felt all over the place theme wise. So it's really nice to have like this nice kind of unifying theme of, it's lightning. This is what we're getting story wise. I think it's really cool, especially looking into, why is Acilio big now? Oh, it's because he died and then Aurora, used her weapon to make him big. That's so, or bring him back and now he's big. I love that. So I'm excited for that, but then I I would love if there was a secret reveal because there are those things in the trailer. There's that one scene in the trailer where there's this guy and there's this kind of black shadow creature behind him, and then the end. I would love if there was a secret reveal of something else and like, the darkness or the chaos or the next set if we saw something that played off of that coming, especially since I think that there's some cool possibilities there, with what heroes we could get in combinations of like Runeblade and Shadow and stuff like that. But I don't want to get my hopes up and be disappointed. So I'm just focusing on what they've announced and what's, released. But that would be
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, because I've heard a lot of people say that they're hoping for kind of like a Scurv type character to kind of pop out. Like, young hero only, but it does a lot for like the lore and stuff like that. Chaos or Shadow type hero. But which, I feel like they've kind of, I don't know, put people in a certain place where they've made this expectation for it now because they've done stuff like Scurv that it's like, oh, only three heroes, isn't that weird? But I will say I'm boring, and I do think I am in the camp that it's just going to be the three heroes, and it's merely setting up. Because we got to make predictions. So I'm going to stand hard in the camp of I think it's only three heroes, and the next set is going to be something like Monarch 3, and that's when the story will progress, and we'll understand more about why the new like Command and Conquer art is the way that it is, and the end of the trailer is the way that it is.
That is my belief too, especially I'm really excited, hopefully, for Monarch 3. So that's where I am going to believe, or stay. But I am, though, now that we're talking about it and thinking about it, a young hero with Silver Age would be pretty cool.
Oh, it would be awesome. I just don't think it's going to happen.
I don't either. They would have announced it. They would have tried to be getting us excited about it because that just sells better.
But also, I don't know if you saw my silly little video that I made. We can't trust anything that James White says. Uh, because in an interview 2 weeks ago, he said, "Oh, yep, there's not going to be illusionist for a while," and then he announces Ziggy. It's like, so
Yeah.
you can't trust this man anymore.
That is a very good point.
All right, I think it is time that we move on to hero specific predictions. So I have all of the cards, and I'll send them to you as well. Okay, starting with Nebula Duality, which it seems like all of the heroes are getting this instant pay one, deal one, and create a flow token, which is nice. I'm kind of excited to see how many more they get and how class specific they're going to be with them, because I think there's already one. Yeah, like the flowing storm strike, where it's when this hits, create a lightning flow. So they have some more generic for the set, but obviously not generic in type, making of the flow. And I I know it's a set with only three heroes, and Acilio is one of those heroes. But I am just wondering how much support he's going to get, because I feel like if he gets too much support, regular Acilio is just going to be gone just as fast as Aurora was. Starting now, obviously he's been there way longer, but like once the set release, he's just going to be gone. Um, and they already did like I think it's like the temporal wobble, so he's already got like juiced up cards. He's already insane. And new Acilio, buff Cilio, if you will. Uh, his hero text is really interesting, but sadly doesn't work the way that I thought. I misread it the first time, because I was like, "Oh my god, he's so cracked. He's so good." I thought you could pay one and discard something like Comet Storm Shock, and then play Comet Storm as an instant, but you would only be able to play
Oh.
Shock as an instant. I was like, wow, pay 3, deal 5 on the opponent's turn is like normal wizard stuff. That's totally how it works. But at least from my understanding, no, they can't make a Cilio good when he first releases. That's the rule for wizards.
I
They have to be bad.
I agree with you on seeing how it's going to affect old Acilio because right now I really believe that Acilio's in a really strong place. He's just a harder deck to pilot, which is why he isn't necessarily as dominating. But I think if he has a lot of these cards, like you say, that just buff him up, he's going to be, like you said, banned on release because everybody's going to want to play him. He's going to be so juiced. It's just going to,
Hmm.
he's going to go burr. So
Oh, yeah.
It'll definitely be something to watch.
Because then we got cards like Astral Strike, which is just Enlightened Strike, but for lightning only. It technically costs the same because in Lightning Strike you have to discard a card, and this one you have to pay one, so it's pretty much the same cost. But sometimes it's not. Sometimes you'll have stuff left over. A lot of these cards have like twice per turn, pay one and give it plus one. So I don't know why they are acting like Lightning is bad and giving us so many
Right.
crazy cards. Because it's like they're just supporting the best classes in the game, which I'm trying not to complain because I love Illusionist, Runeblade, and Wizard and Lightning. But even I'm a little bit like, okay, what is going on? Who thought this was a good idea? Other than they're just having fun at this point.
I agree. I'm a gamer who I play what I like, I don't care what's meta, but then sometimes when
Mhm.
what I play is meta, I'm like, "Guys, don't worry, I'm not doing this because it's good," and, I play Wizard, so when Wizard and stuff gets buffed, I'm like, "Oh, no, guys, no, don't
Right.
misunderstand."
Right. No, it absolutely. It was like I've been playing Acilio forever. I played it before we had the zero cost shocks and stuff like that and loved it. I loved how bad it was. And then he gets zero cost shocks and all this stuff. And I'm like, I pull up and I'm like, oh, I'm playing Acilio today. And now I get, instead of like, oh, that's fun, I get eye rolls. And I'm like, oh, man. Trust,
You
I'm not that good.
misunderstand.
I'm an OG, I promise. And that's how I feel for my partner, and probably for you as well with Prism. It's like you build Prism because she's really pretty and the cards are really pretty, and then everyone's like, "Oh, you're playing Prism." It's like, no, no, wait, 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 what's going on? I just thought they were
Yeah,
cool.
exactly, exactly. I play Verdants as well, and I always feel so dirty when I have to
Hmm.
Storm Striders on somebody's turn. I'm like, "I'm not
Oh,
this person."
side prediction: do you think they're going to ban Striders because they released those? I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head. It's like the Tempest somethings. If you know what I'm talking about. If not, I can try to find it really quick.
I do know what you're talking about. I don't
Okay, okay.
remember the exact text off the top of my head, but I do know what you're talking about, and I I do think so. I've kind of thought that Striders could be banned for a while now, potentially, but
Hmm.
it'll be interesting to see, especially now that we're getting so much to help out Wizard.
Right. Because was it the Nebula duality is, I just realized, is specifically Lightning Wizard. I didn't even notice that at first. So I do I guess I gotta make a prediction here. Okay, so I think that they will maybe only print one like rainbow of wizard actions, and everything else is going to be specifically Lightning Wizard for the Acilios. Um And I do think that new Acilio is going to gain more traction because I've been trying to build an Acilio deck where you do have to pitch more, but there are just no cards to support it. So I think with stuff like Astral Strike and the flowing Stormstride, or Storm Strike, I think that buff Cilio is actually going to be better than old Cilio due to him inherently wanting things to cost something and you wanting to run more blues. I think he's going to be a little bit more mid range, which I've always tried to play Acilio more mid range, rather than, oh, I happen to draw the cards. I'm going to crack boots and deal 25 physical and a million arcane
Right,
and hope you die, because if you don't die, then this is going to be a struggle for me.
right.
So that would be my prediction. I think buff Cilio will get all the good stuff, and maybe there'll be like one wizard thing that will be Sage legal, just to get super specific with it.
That sounds more balanced. I mean, as balanced,
Hmm.
supporting lightning as it can be, but that does sound like a better approach.
All right. What do you have thoughts on for the new Aurora?
I'm excited that she is a rune blade and not just an elemental again. I've been, listening to a lot of people talk about that. I think
Hmm.
that that'll make her, hopefully, depending on what her weapon looks like, it'll make her a little bit slower from the get-go so that there is time to figure her out and she's not just broken from release.
Yeah.
That is what I'm hoping because when I have time to play her and, get to experience what she's like, but that's what I'm hoping. Also, we only have, Vincent right now as a Room Blade, so it'll be nice to have another one in there just to kind of give you a different flavor, especially since
Mhm.
Vincent is a very challenging deck. So that'll be
Yes.
nice to give another option.
So then I have a question for you. Do you think, because I don't know if you how much you knew about the original Aurora, but everyone said that she played more like a lightning ninja than a lightning rune blade. She didn't really care about the rune chance or anything like that. She had the one combo where she would ping you for one over and over again. But do you think that the new Aurora, they're going to try to turn it so she's more of a rune blade, or do you think they're okay with keeping her as more of just this red line, almost ninja style deck?
That's a good question. I do think because they didn't give her elemental again, and she's, just lightning Room Blade, that they are trying to slow her down and slow out her play style. So I'm hoping for making her kind of slower. She's Rune Chant, but my play style, because I've been really enjoying ninjas lately, I would probably prefer if they made her more of a lightning ninja. And that's not really a prediction because I just said both. But there's the good for the
Yeah,
game hope and the good for me hope.
exactly. I was gonna say you can have your prediction and then like your hopes and dreams.
Yeah, so I'm predicting that maybe they're gonna try to make her play more rune chanty, especially since we don't, like I said, the only other rune chant we have is Vincent. So it makes sense that they want something that plays into that kind of rune chant style.
I hope that will also help her slow down and not do what the first Aurora did, where she was just, out of here instantly and never even really got to see high level play because she just dominated locals, got all her points at like PQs type seasons, and then was gone.
I agree. I also, because I'm newer to the game, there was some, this is my first PQ art season, and
Hmm.
I feel like the meta is really healthy right now. I mean, watching the callings each weekend, there's been such a diverse, top 32, top 8. That it's been really nice to watch, but I've been told that wasn't the case. There were times where it was just, you're playing these two heroes or you're not playing at a high level. What are you doing?
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
hope that we can continue having this kind of healthy meta, but I do understand the fear having 3 lightning heroes come out and lightning so strong that,
Hmm.
it could shake that up a little bit.
Speaking of being so strong, I think it's time to talk about the Ziggy in the room. Um, Lightning Illusionist sounds crazy. And as we can see from the weapon, it is going to be dealing a good amount of arcane damage.
Yes. I do hope that as an illusionist, Ziggy is a little bit more straightforward than Prism. I love Prism. But, learning the game, being new to the game, everybody warns you like, "Hey, Prism plays completely different. Prism's like this
Hmm.
other system you have to learn." So having another illusionist that might be a little bit more straightforward is exciting, but it also is scary because if it's straightforward probably because it's strong. I also,
Right.
think that there's gonna be a little bit of, like, some flickering going on with, like, messing with the auras and stuff. And my past life in Magic, I've played, flicker decks that like flicker stuff in and out, and I've had a lot of fun with that. And I think
Yeah.
like as an illusionist, it's very thematic. So I am very excited with this announcement. And it's also very good for people who are, playing Prism. I have a lot of friends who only play Prism. They're very
Hmm.
excited to have another illusionist to have as an option.
Yeah. Then apparently next year we're getting Dromai too. So we'll see how many illusionists we have by the end of it. But something that illusionists are kind of known for and also hated for is having some sort of board state. And if we look at the cards that have been released for Ziggy, they don't really seem to have any type of board state. They don't have angels or dragons or wards that they can attack with. So do you think this might be a board stateless illusionist, or do you think we'll have some type of like lightning creatures that they will be able to build up.
I am thinking that it is going to be board stateless. And, with, like I said, the flickering and all of the other stuff going on, I think that
Hmm.
that's going to be the kind of engine that's going on rather than, like you said, building up a board state and doing damage and effects via either your dragons or your figments.
Wow. Okay. Because I think I will have to disagree. Um, I'm trying to find exactly the hero text on Ziggy really quick. Destroy lightning flow. You control banish another lightning or a permanent. Oh, so it is permanent. That might change my answer slightly then, because well, I guess they could be permanents. Because I was thinking if he could create token auras and he could like flicker them in and out and maybe prevent damage. But if he does have something like lightning constructs that he could send out and maybe flicker them to like prevent damage on them somehow,
Hmm.
kind of like like you said, Magic the Gathering style. Um, I think that that's where they're going to go with it. So he's going to actually be protecting his board state with a couple of attacks, kind of Prism style, rather than Dromai, having a huge board state. But I do think there will be some sort of board state.
It'll be interesting to see. It'll also just be interesting to see, like, art style wise, how
Oh
these
yeah.
his lightning constructs would look. I'm excited if they do go that route to see what they look like.
Well, to continue off of that, I am assuming that they're going to look like Acilio, because Acilio was built, I'm pretty sure, I would have to brush up on the lore, but kind of back around the time where Ziggy's plane was like broken off and, sent to wherever they're going, to find him. So I would assume that it would be because the other cards in the set, or not the set, the ones that came out in pen, like those, the lightning cards with the constructs on them. I'm assuming that that's what they're going to look like.
That's a good point.
I think that is a good amount of predictions. I guess last one, since they haven't been revealed yet. I think that we are getting new Volzar and Starfalls, but I think the new Volzar is going to deal arcane directly, kind of like a waning moon. But what do you think the new Starfall could look like?
That's a good question. I, to be completely honest, haven't given it much thought.
Because I also think no matter what, they're going to be Majestics. Because I don't think we need more stuff for Briar to have in Sage, even though with the
No,
bans,
definitely not.
they don't. All the rune blades don't need any more options. Um, but yeah, I think it will deal arcane. But Starfall, yeah, I think it's not going to have go again. I think they're going to do the Savage Claw treatment where it will get a buff, but you have to use it as a chain ender.
I agree. I agree. I think that Go Again is so strong that
Oh
hopefully they
yeah.
won't have it on Starfall this time.
Hopefully, if they learned anything from the other one, yes, it will be hopefully majestic and hopefully just gets like buffed +1 if you've played a lightning card and it comes in 1 for 3. Still an amazing weapon, but not like the most broken thing like Starfall is.
I agree, especially with all the other cards I'm seeing. We're fine. We've got other options. We don't need a weapon that's gonna be carrying all of our damage across.
Right. All right. Is there any other topics that you would like to bring up? Anything that you've been thinking about with the new set?
I don't think that I have anything. I do hope that, eventually I really hope we can get some Shiana stuff in future sets, but
Mm.
that's just me wishing and hoping. I think every time I see her in art, she looks beautiful. So that's me wishing and hoping and just putting it out into the universe.
No, 100%. I think that is a favorite amongst a lot of people, but it's also really hard to make cards for that aren't just insane.
Oh yeah.
But okay, I think that is a good amount of predictions. I hope that I can have you back in, like I said, in about the time that the set releases, maybe just after, so all the cards can kind of settle, and we can come up with some arbitrary point system to see who is better at predicting random lightning cards from two players who are extremely new to the game. Um, but yeah, Ren, I would like to thank you so much for coming on, for giving your opinions. Is there anything that you would like to promote? Oh, where can we find you? Which apps? And is there any events that you plan on going to that you would like to see people at?
Yes, I will be at Pro Tour Yokohama. I'll be playing in side events and I will be in a cosplay one of the days. So please, if you see me, come up and say hi. And I'm on X, Instagram, TikTok, and Blue Sky at TheThreadedRen. So please follow me there. And thank you so much for having me on. I can't wait to come back and see who was right and who got more things right or wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. All of your stuff hopefully will be down in the description, if I remember to do all that. If not, yell at me.
No
Um,
worries.
and yeah, I hope everyone has an amazing day, and I will hope to see you in the future.
Thank you so much.